Welcome back to the shop, everyone. This week's video takes place in 2025, week 11, March 10th through 16th, and we are starting to put this back end back together. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of clean out the axle tube. I was doing some cutting and grinding with them open. I want to get as much debris out of there as I can. And then we are just going to start reassembling this. So we're going to put the axle on, we're going to put the backing plate back on. We're going to do some measurements around the e-brake shoe. We're going to set the e-brake shoe to the correct size of the inside diameter of the hat on the rotor. And we'll put the calipers back on. And we're just going to do the same thing on both sides. Now that both sides are back together, we can start working on putting brake lines back on this thing. So first thing I need to do is I need to put the bracket that I previously painted back on the diff, and that has the T that will accept the brake line from the chassis of the car up to the diff, and then that'll split to both sides. So after we get that on, we're going to put both brake lines that I previously made a while back back on the car. And let me tell you, those stainless brake lines look amazing. I am so happy with how those brake lines turned out. So there is one thing that I'm kind of concerned about, and that's how close these brake lines are to the upper control arms. Like right now, the rear end is extended, but when I compress this, is it going to like hit the brake line, touch the brake line? We'll have to see when we get to that point. So with the flex line on, we can work on putting the wheels back on. Sorry about the terrible camera view here with the light shining directly at the GoPro. I generally try and get the light behind the GoPro so you actually get a nice clearer shot, but obviously I completely screwed it up in this instance. right, so now that we got brake lines back on the car, now that we've got the back end back together, we can get the car jacked up and get the back end down on the wooden blocks. Now the reason why we're doing this is so that the front end and the back end sits level at the same height on those wood blocks. They're built all the same. And we're doing this because I need to be able to set the pinion angle of the car, and that needs to be done at ride height. But if you look at the wood blocks on the jack, it is at a very precarious angle. So I just dropped the one side. That wasn't a good idea. And now I'm readjusting just to try and make sure that I'm not going to drop the car. I do have the jack stands under there still, but the last thing I want to do is drop the car 2 or 3 feet. That would it might bend stuff, right? It might not hurt anything, but it might bend stuff, and it's potentially dangerous just dropping the car off of jacks. So definitely want to avoid that. So made it so that wood's a little bit better secured, and I can actually jack the car up. I'm just quickly measuring because the one side jacks up more than the other, which is kind of odd, but so now I'm just going to go through and figure out what the current transmission angle is, and then figure out the pinion angle, and we're going to, try and get this set. Alrighty, so under the car, I'm going to take my digital angle finder. I'm going to put it on the flat spot on the tail shaft of the transmission. Now I've got 2.2 degrees down, and I've got 9.2, 8.9, 9.2 degrees up on the pinion, or on the diff. And that is just way too much. I want roughly the same angle up as the transmission is down, so I want it roughly right around 2.2. I end up I get it to I think 3.7. It's 1.5 degrees off. Shouldn't be the end of the world. If I have enough time, if I get everything I need to do done before the first weekend in April, I'll probably go and play with that a little bit more. But at the moment, I'm content with it. You'll see here, setting the pinion angle, you got to jack the car up, put it on jack stands so that all the weight's off the control arms. That makes the control arms easy to actually adjust, and then you got to put it back up on jack. So it's just a ton of dicking around, but it is needed. If I'd left that at the 9 degrees up, I would have had a massive vibration in the car, and it would just suck to drive. So setting your pinion angle, absolutely needed. And there's a couple of different ways you can. So because I have adjustable upper and lower control arms, I just loosen off the adjustment nuts, and then I adjust the control arms, make them longer or shorter. So if I make the bottom control arms longer, it's going to rotate the top of the the top of the diff down, which decreases the angle, which is what I need. Conversely, if I shorten the top control arms, that will also pull the top down. So what happens is I also want the wheels kind of centered in the wheel well. So if I just shorten both of those control arms all the way up, it's possible that the wheels sit very far forward in the wheel well. So I'm balancing getting the wheels in the wheel well in a good area. Too far back, when the car moves, it may rub. Too far forward, same thing. So you kind of, and also the look. It would look kind of silly if there was no gap at the front and then a 3-inch gap at the back. So I'm trying to balance all of those things as I go through this. Another way to adjust the top pinion angle instead of just shortening the control arms is, you'll see here in a second, I actually lift the front pickup point of the upper control arm, and that makes effectively the link a little bit shorter. Kind of unintuitive, but that is the way it works, because it's changing the angle and it's going to pull it up, or it's going to pull the diff forward. But But by adjusting that upper control arm position, that adjusts what's called the instant center in the car, which goes to how the car is going to react when you accelerate from a dead stop. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind. And also keep in mind, I know probably 5% of suspension setup and everything else. There is so much more that I don't know than what I do know. So everything that I'm saying, take with a grain of salt. I am not a suspension expert. I'm not a drag racing expert. I'm not a car expert. I am just, reading some things online and trying to put 2 and 2 together and make this work the best I can. On top of that, everything that I'm doing here is all hypothetical. I need to actually get out on the road in the car and test it. So on the road, I need to test accelerating from a dead stop and see what the car does. Does it, bunny hop, which I hope it really doesn't do. Does it lift the tires and do a massive wheelie? So there's all these things that once the car is actually on the road, I can test, and then I can adjust more, hopefully for the better. Things like the bar angle of the lower control arms. Like looking at this, there are 4 holes where I can change the angle of the bar. I did the lower torque boxes so I can adjust the front angle as well. So I've done a lot of things to give myself a good amount of adjustment in the car. Later on in the video, I actually go through and I do some rough measurements, and I think I should be at an okay place, at least to start. I don't think it's going to be so out of whack that it's going to be that's going to hurt the car. So I don't think I got much more to say. I've said a lot as it is. So another thing, and it's kind of great because you can see this on the time lapse, like as I'm adjusting stuff, you'll actually see the entire rear end start shifting in different ways, which is, I think is quite neat to see on the time lapse. Yeah, so this is where I start measuring some suspension geometry. So they want to know measurements from like the ground to the lower control arm bolts in the back, on the chassis, the upper control arm bolts, stuff like that. And then length of the control arms and a bunch of stuff. So I don't do an exact science here. I do my best guesstimation based on what I have, and I eventually throw it into a online calculator, and it showed me it was within relevance, within spec, within tolerance. It wasn't so far out to lunch that I got to worry about it too much. And Carburetor decided to visit us in the shop while I'm reinstalling the drive shaft. And yeah, I love having my puppies in the shop. Can't have them in there all the time. At least I don't like to, especially when I'm like cutting and grinding and welding. Like super loud, and then the welding is super bright. That could damage their eyes just like it can damage ours. So I don't want them around. If I had like a small pen where I could put them in the shop and, they wouldn't be affected by, like the welding light, then if I was welding, I'd keep them around. But I only bring them in the shop when I'm doing stuff that's, not super filthy and super loud, or going to blind them. Yeah, so since the car is kind of like level, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh man, this muffler looks really low. And, you know, in my mind, I'm like, well, fortunately, I do need to redo the passenger side muffler anyways, because I want to redo that tailpipe next year, just because of how close it goes past the fuel cell and stuff. So I'm just kind of like, well, I'm going to run it. And, you know, if it drags and hits on the ground, well, not great, but not the end of the world either. So now I just want to clean up the inside of the car. You know, it's filthy from when I was working on the roof that failed, but we're not going to talk about that because what's done is done. I'm moving on. I'm going to clean up the inside of the car, get some of the, you know, just all of the dirt and grits and, you know, sanding stuff, and sanding and grinding all of the metal and crap out of the car. Because, you know, I'm trying to get the car back on the road, so I need the interior to be clean when I start putting stuff back into it. So, like under the car where I just primered it, I'm just going to quickly tape off this fuel door cover, get some paper on it. I'm going to tape off the grommet that goes through to the bottom for the fuel pump and the fuel sender. And then I'm just going to spray some primer on all of the raw metal in here just to help it stop from rusting. Next up, I don't want to forget to do this, so I am going to fill the diff with fluid. So what I'm doing is I am just at the front of the diff, I'm undoing the drain plug, or the fill plug I should say, drain plug is in the back. And then I'm going to open up the fill plug, which is the top plug. If you're looking at the diff right now, there's the big plug on the top, which I'm undoing, and then there's a small tiny one on the bottom, which is the drain plug. And I got this little like plunger sucker tool from Princess Auto. I think it was like 14 or 15 bucks. But I can draw the oil out of the container into the tube, and then I can just push it into the diff. This makes it a much nicer process to fill the diff. If you remember before, I was just using the bottles before, but I was also using the bottles at the front of the diff, not the back, because the fuel cell was in. This is specifically why I left the fuel cell out for the moment, and why I'm filling the diff now with the fuel cell out, is I can get at it a little bit easier. But yeah, so I fill from the top hole, and then I check the fill plug on the front of the diff to check the fluid. And I think this ends up taking like 2 of these bottles and like a quarter to a third of another one I had kicking around. With the diff filled up, it is time to finish this exhaust. Got brand new gas cylinders, and so we are going to finish welding out this pipe, and we're going to finish building out the driver's side exhaust, and going to get it all mounted back up in the car. So before I'd taken the passenger side pipe that goes over the diff and down to the back out of the car, I kind of measured where the fuel cell is and where the springs are. And I am going to heat the pipe up in those areas and beat the ever-living hell out of this thing. I hate to do it on a brand new exhaust, but I need clearance. So I'm just going to do what I got to do to get this thing on the road. As I've mentioned before, I want to redo the exhaust on this side anyways, now that I've done it on the other side. So as bad as I feel about doing this, I'm also happy to do it just to get this going. Before I finish off the driver's side exhaust, I want to get the fuel cell back in. So what I recall is that a couple of these holes weren't tapped out perfectly. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to re-tap them just so I can make sure that I've got, the best chance of getting the bolts started and in as I can possibly give myself. Another example of one of my all-time great camera angles. I tilted the camera down to show you when I was putting the Loctite on the bolts, and then I never angled it back up. So, go me, yay! And as you can see, I only have 3 bolts in, and that's because one of the posts it was just not lining up. So what I'll probably have to end up doing is just beating the hell out of it, and didn't really feel like doing it. And 3 bolts probably more than enough to hold this up for now. But yeah, now that the fuel cell's back in, I can get back onto finishing off this exhaust. So I'm going to, I think I got to beat that passenger side pipe a little bit more to clear the fuel cell, and mainly the spring. I think the fuel cell I'm good, but yeah, so I got to finish off the driver's side. So I got to put this pipe on, get it angled, get everything kind of all squared up, and the pipe straight out the back. I end up having to cut the cut a bit more angle out of one of the pie cuts, and yeah, just doing regular fab work. You've seen me do this kind of stuff before. Yeah, now that the both side tailpipes are done, the driver's side is so much nicer than the passenger side. It clears all the suspension parts, it clears the fuel cell, everything, and I mean everything about it is just way better. So I'm absolutely going to redo the passenger side, like the side I'm working on right now, next winter, because yeah, everything is better on the driver's side. It just fits so much better, so much nicer. And as I said, like the muffler on the passenger side is hanging down quite low right now, so I do want to adjust that as well. But I just don't have time to do that right now. But what I do have time to do is take the license plate off, throw a couple of bolts on the back bumper cover, and then measure where I'm going to cut those exhaust tips, because obviously I don't want the driver's side extended out like 1.5 feet and the passenger 6 inches past the bumper. What I want is I want the tips kind of flush with the bottom of the bumper, and then I'm going to put a 15-degree angle from the top to the bottom, just to make it look a little bit nicer. Personally, I have never been a fan of like chrome tips or stainless tips, so I'm just going to use some primer, and I'm just going to paint these things flat black primer. I actually really like the look of the black tips on this car, so I'm happy I did this. I wouldn't change anything. If I wanted to, I could always just strip the paint off and, you know, go down to stainless and polish it, but I don't want to do that. Alright, so now that all the welding is done, we can do a little bit of cleanup and paint the exhaust at the same time. Time to get the exhaust back on the car now that it's all painted and dried. So at this point in time, it is, you know, we can reinstall the fuel pump. So I do the same thing I did before. I show you how I put a little bit of Loctite on the bolts, and then I do not change the camera angle again. But I'm just going to put the pump back up. I'm going to put the lines back on. Yeah, nothing more about it. All right, now that the lines are back on the car, I need to empty out my oil drain pan. And the reason for that is because I need the oil drain pan so I can empty out all the oil from the engine. This seems kind of self-explanatory. Now, the reason why I need to do that is I need to put a new oil pump drive shaft in the car. So the engine just has the stock one, but it's highly recommended that you upgrade to a ARP. It's a thicker one. It's not likely to twist, especially with thicker oil like I have in here. So that's why I am switching out the oil pump drive shaft. So to start, I'm going to drain out all the oil and I'm going to drop the oil pan. So with the oil out and the oil pan dropped, kind of adjust the camera angle here just so you can see I am working in very tight quarters. So the oil pump has 2 bolts that attaches to the oil pickup, and then there's 2 bolts that attach it to the block. So I need to get my hands in there and get the 2 bolts attaching the oil pump pickup to the oil pump off. And then once that is off, I will be able to undo the 2 bolts from the block to drop the oil pump. Now, as you can see, this is super tight in there. I can barely just get my hand in there. There's a bolt on top of the pickup and then one on the bottom of the pickup. So they're both just really tight and hard to get at. I want to do my best not to drop bolts into the pan, but sometimes my best isn't good enough, and so I still drop bolts into the pan. Luckily, I have magnets I can pick it up. Not that big a deal. So to pick up tube off, I can undo the bolts that are holding the pump to the engine. Just 2 bolts, so 4 bolts total for this project, not that hard. So I just got the pump down. I got the oil pump drive shaft out. If you want to see a difference in them, you can look on my Instagram. There's going to be pictures of it not too far back. Now, dropping this all was the easy part. The hard part is getting this all back together. Now, as you can see, the oil pump and the drive shaft, it's kind of hard to see it was kind of hard to see the drive shaft, but it dropped out of the bottom, meaning I have to fight gravity to get this back up. Not only that, the top of the oil pump drive shaft has to fit perfectly into the distributor, the bottom of the distributor. So I can't just randomly throw it up there and hope it works. I need to get it in the right spot. So luckily I have a scope, so it's a little camera, so I can kind of stick it up behind the first main cap, and I can see exactly where it needs to be. And with the help of the camera, I can, with my other hand, get the oil pump drive shaft up there. And now once the oil pump drive shaft is up and in the distributor, I need to also get the oil pump up onto the bottom of the oil pump drive shaft at the right kind of angle, the right fit and everything else, and then push it all up so that the oil pump drive shaft is engaged both at the top and the bottom, and hopefully gravity doesn't fight me and it falls out. This did take me a little bit to actually get properly done, especially since everything's oily, so it's all a little bit more slippery. But in the end, we got it all done. And then the next hard part was getting the bolts for the oil pump pickup back attached into the oil pump. There's one on the bottom of a tube, and that's just really hard to get at. The whole bolt holes aren't 100% lined up. So it just took a lot of patience and a lot of time, but in the end, we get it all done. So here I am just double checking with the scope that I have engagement with the oil pump drive shaft and the distributor. And from there, I can start working on getting the oil pan mounted back up. Now, as you can see, the oil pump gasket is split. I'm not too fussed about getting that fixed, so I'm going to use a little bit of gasket maker, effectively seal up the corners in that area and just hope it doesn't leak. If there's a tiny little dribble of a leak, it's not the end of the world. If it's pissing out of there, then I will have to do something. But knowing I'm building a new engine, if it leaks a little bit, if it's just a little drip here and there, I'm not worried about it. Okay, we are moving on to, I am installing a new intercooler. So as you may know, may not know, the intercooler as it's installed now, it actually scrapes on the ground as I leave my driveway. So I've bought a new intercooler that has the inlet and the outlet both on the bottom. On the old one, the inlet was on the bottom, the outlet was on the top, and that top one interfered with my tubular front end. So I've got the inlet and the outlet on the bottom. Hopefully I can get it up into the car a little bit more, and I'm really hoping this is going to solve the problem. Although after looking at this now, it may not, so we'll see. We're going to do our best, and then if I have to readjust later or go back to this one for the summer, that's what we'll do. Yeah, so I'm just going to take the nose cone off. I'm going to take the existing intercooler off, and we're going to start working on the new one. Right, so here is the new intercooler. So with the outlet on the top and the bottom, I am really hoping that I can get this up and in there a lot better. I might also need to completely adjust how I am mounting it to the car, and if that's the case, I'll do that, but I'm gonna try and get it just straight up and down in there, and that's what I'm gonna try to do. So yeah, while I'm, just test fitting and checking stuff out, like the intercooler's in a very precarious position. Like it wants to fall backwards or forwards. So as I'm putting the nose cone on and off, like I'm doing my best because I don't want the intercooler to fall back into the rad and damage the rad. I don't want it to fall out of the car. So this is just, a lot of finessing and hoping that things don't fall apart. So I've just taken a bunch of measurements and I've given myself a crude drawing. And what you're going to see next is I did I drew up the part in CAD offline, and now we are going to go over to the plasma cutter and cut out some test brackets and see how they fit. with getting those first 2 brackets cut out and kind of test fit on the car and seeing that it might actually work. That's actually all the time that we have for this video. So as always, if you stuck around this long, I'd like to thank you for viewing. We'll see you in the next one.